Hello, hello. All right, so Aquarius, let's take a look. Actually, I think I want this deck instead. Let's take a look at the person on Aquarius's mind, whoever that may be, whatever their situation is. Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. This is somebody who's like, I almost feel like they're very optimistic, like they feel empowered. They feel like they're something in their life is going better. They might have recently gotten a new job. Woo, world card, and we have this fertility goddess here. They could definitely be an earth sign. This could be non-romantic or it could be romantic. Right now we have a lot of feminine energy, and a lot of Capricorn energy in particular. But this could be somebody who's like, if this is somebody that Aquarius had been, wondering, like, I wonder how my friend or my daughter, or it could be romantic as well. This could be reverse gender roles, same sex, doesn't matter. But for some reason, I almost feel like this is more like I'm wondering how my adult kids, uh, job interview went, or how something that was new in their life, I wonder how it went. It could be something like that. But on their side, they do come across as earth energy, so somebody quite grounded, quite stable. It looks like they had a really good turn of events. If anything, Woman of Cups too, Queen of Cups. This feels like they are somebody who is so jazzed, so thrilled. I don't know if they've recently had a good turn of fortune in business and they are going to be headed back into Aquarius's life. This could be like somebody's son or daughter that's like coming home and it's like, you're not going to believe this. Oh my God, I had the best outcome. This is working so good. Or this could be, like I said, a lover who's recently had some things really start to take shape in their life and they're saying, I can't wait to get back and tell Aquarius all of this. It feels very positive. It feels very happy. Seven of Wands and Emperor. I never care about genders, but I will say either this was a conversation that had to happen with like a boss and it went so well, or like a big, this could be I got hired. This is so exciting. I made it to the next round, or it sounds like they're going to start, there are still a few more obstacles, a few more things to get through, but this is sounding really good. Or this is all about possibly a divine masculine who's reached a point in his life where it's like, I cannot wait to share with Aquarius all the changes I've been through, all the things like I've, balanced out my energy. I feel like my life is back on track. I feel happy again. I feel whole again. I feel like I'm coming back. Somebody is so excited in this story. It doesn't mean everything is perfect, but it means that there was enough positive progress in somebody's life that it really started to shape up in this beautiful way. Seven of Cups. I don't know what Aquarius is going to say. I just know I can't wait to share the news with them. That's how this comes across. Okay, let me jump over real quick and say, as far as Aquarius goes, what is Aquarius thinking of this person? That's like where they're at. Aquarius has been waiting to hear from this person. We've got the Three of Pentacles and then the Two of Wands sideways. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what they're going to tell me, but man, I'm either rooting for this person or cheering them on, or I still hope that we get to keep interacting, but I don't know what's really going to come of this. I still can't figure out the dynamics here. Does Aquarius have like loving feelings for them that are like romantic, or just friendship or family member? I don't know yet. We've got this Four of Swords in the reverse. Let me put it this way. At minimum, Aquarius has looked at this as somebody who they want the best for. So Aquarius has a very big heart anyway, but whomever this is, they're like, I just want this person to heal and I want them to get these wins. I could definitely feel this being Aquarius cheering for like a family member, a non-romantic individual. This could be their best friend. This could be their sibling. This could be, we also have the Devil. If anything though, this is Aquarius saying, I know that this person has these fears to overcome. We do again have Capricorn, Magician sideways. I get the strongest vibe that this is somebody who can go from the greatest highs to the greatest depths of despair if things don't work out. And I think Aquarius has been like, I hope that they heal from some of those disappointments that they've had, but I also hope that they don't put all of their self-worth and hinge it on whether or not something goes well. I'm of course cheering for this person, but I managing the highs and lows, and managing the fact that in life we want certain things, we don't always get everything that we want, but that shouldn't crush us. We should be able to still gravitate toward things that we want, and know lots of stuff in life that we want. We're not gonna get the winning ticket, or we're not gonna get hired, but that's okay. We're still super worthy people. And I just kind of feel like, if anything, Aquarius wants this person to know that this could still be a lover. It doesn't have to be like a family member. But let me put it this way: this storyline is not about romantic love. This is somebody who Aquarius has been thinking about, holding in their heart, wishing the best for, knowing that this is a character who they don't want to see any devastating loss for anybody, but they also want this person to have their power, even if there's an upset. It's like, I want them to get more balanced and know that they have the power to create their world, but not to get hyper focused at the same time. Again, whatever the dynamics are here, Aquarius cares deeply for this person and wants the best for them, but also wants this person to not think that their whole life is dependent upon one, potential outcome. Now, all that being said, we have this person who's like so thrilled they can't wait to rush back to Aquarius and tell them the good news, even though there's still some more obstacles to get through. They're having hope, but they might also want to bounce some ideas off of Aquarius. Can I just see, what are the dynamics between these two? Is this love? Is this friendship? Is this family? We have the star sideways, so there's Aquarius, and we have the Four of Wands in the reverse. I will still say this, if this were a romantic connection, I have to say this almost feels like somebody that the romantic feelings have been put way off to the side, because it looks like Aquarius consistently plays a role of somebody who helps this person, helps them to try to heal, props them up. Let's say this could be an ex, and it's like, we were married and then divorced, but I know them so well, and honestly, we've stayed friends, or we've been in a lover's connection, but I also find myself less as a lover and more as like a support network, a life coach. The dynamics here, no wonder I can't quite peg it, because we have not any traditional romantic vibe, but rather like I've been helping this person to heal. They look to me for some kind of guidance. I don't know if this is a great interaction or not exactly. King of Coins upright. See, I think if anything, and I mean, I do think that relationships can go through the ebb and flow of sometimes one person is having a better time, and that's when we lift our partner up and we're like, babe, so you lost a job. That doesn't define your worth or your value. Jobs come and go, but your talents and skills and the essence of who you are is so valuable, and that's why I'm with you. It has nothing to do with when you have a job. When you don't, you will have value whether or not a company can keep you employed. Companies have to downsize. It has nothing to do with you. And we all make mistakes. It could just be that this is Aquarius saying, I have so much belief in how valuable this person is. They're amazing, but I know that they have been going through a very hard time, and so I kind of shifted. I wasn't feeling like this person's partner so much as their support network, and trying to help say, you have to know how worthy you are. I feel like that has become the role that Aquarius was playing with this King of Coins, because all day we see them as an earth sign, somebody who should be grounded, but I think Aquarius has been trying really hard to help ground this person. They have had a recent good turn of events that I think is making them very excited, even though they might still be concerned, is this really going to go that well? They could recently have gotten greater control in their own life, but things are starting to turn upward. Now, what does that mean for this connection? We can see Aquarius cares so much about this person. We have a King of Wands kind of at a funky downhill tilted, And then we have a Nine of Swords that's upright. It's weird because it's almost like Aquarius is still worried, though. Either what if they get too big for their britches and have a big swollen head? That's going to be hard to deal with. Or what if something doesn't go right and then they go back to feeling really unhappy? Because it does look like Aquarius says this is somebody who sometimes gets hyper focused on only the negatives if things aren't going well. And I want to see them heal from that. It kind of seems like Aquarius is worried that what if everything doesn't go as beautifully as what it seems like it's going to? Will they get really upset? We have Ace of Coins, we have Eight of Coins, and then we have the Emperor in the reverse. And I think the reason Aquarius might be worried about this is because they're like, because honestly, I'm going to have to talk to them about, like, you can't do this. You can't be this super, super high and then super, super low. You can't, because they could get nasty sometimes if things don't go really well. Or if they, by contrast, I mean, maybe this person does get a real bloated opinion. Maybe they're really upset when things don't go well for them and they get down in the depths of despair. But then when things are going well, maybe they're too cocky and full of themselves. I almost think that Aquarius is like, no matter what, some things have to change. They're going to have to work on the pendulum swing. Or, I hope things go really well. But regardless, maybe I've waited until we could have this conversation. But I'm going to have to tell him, here's the thing. You were going through a tough time. I understood. I was there to support you. I always knew you were going to do great. I'm not all surprised. Things are looking up. But now let's talk about how this got handled, because you have to work on managing the highs being too high, the lows being too low, the frustration, because this can be somebody who gets pretty tyrannical. And it's like, listen, you can't get so upset when things don't go your way that, the only thing that matters is the problems that you're facing, because you know what? The world is full of moments of problems and you have to be more considerate. I can't just be the person that you forget is your partner, and the only thing I'm here for is to try to fix stuff so that you're not upset and, raging or, wandering around like a bear with a sore paw. I can't have that extreme. You have to manage it so that you don't forget that I'm here too. That of course I care, that I know you're going through a tough time, but I almost think that this is Aquarius saying they can go too extreme with, like, it's all about them. Like the biggest deal in the world is that they have had a problem or a conflict. And it's like, excuse me, that's not all. Like, it almost feels like Aquarius is saying, I'm not going to enable you to make smaller things that are life things that we all go through, which life is bumpy. And of course, I'll be there to support you, but not to such an extent where you don't expect anything to ever go wrong with you or it's the end of the world. But other people have to deal with that stuff all the time too. It's just, I think that this is Aquarius saying life shouldn't be 100% fabulous or 100% awful. You have to understand that it's going to be sometimes like a 60-40 and sometimes barely a 50-50. And you've got to find a place to where it's not just all about your perfect life or your terrible life, because that's too extreme. I don't know if I'm saying this very gently, but I don't think Aquarius is going to, like, permit somebody to have zero self-checks on their own, like, emotional reactions. And I don't think it's Aquarius saying, I don't want to be your partner if you're just going to let yourself feel how you feel. I think that this is more like, that was kind of self-indulgent. You stressed me out to such a max. And honestly, some of this is a tempest in a teacup, because look, life changes. Sevens are numbers of change. You have to get better at change in life and not melt down and say the world is ending and the sky is falling because you had a change in your life. And the only thing that'll make it good is if everything goes perfectly again for you. I know I sound kind of harsh. I'm just trying to find the right vocabulary to summarize this as quickly as I can. I'm not saying that that's the easiest story to tell, but I can see why Aquarius is like, we need more balance. Everybody's life is going to go up and down, and you have a partner that supports you, but you also have to not just totally, um, like we don't expect toddlers to have any kind of self-restraint yet because they haven't learned that. When they're tired, when they're cranky, when they're hungry, they might start screaming about Skittles and whip off their diaper in a store. But grown adults can't go that far. We have to still be like, okay, I'm really frustrated. I'm really experiencing this and that, but I'm not going to take it out on my partner. I'm not going to say that my life is, destroyed and I'm so angry. And the only thing that matters is one thing that went wrong for me. Because what about the partner? What about the rest of life? That you've got to manage some of that highs and lows, because it's almost like Aquarius is saying, but I'm still here. Aren't I a good thing? I think maybe that's the context to read this storyline in. Like Aquarius wants to tell somebody, I'll be there for you, but it kind of felt like you weren't there at all for me. The only thing that mattered was whatever, that upheaval in the career path or something. But what about me? Aren't I something that you would be happy to have in your life? Because you kind of forgot that I'm standing right here. That's what I would say about this. Let me get one last final message. 9 of Pentacles. I definitely feel like this could help bring more balance, because I think that this is both Aquarius telling them you're always worthy. You don't have to feel the swing of emotion, but you also got to, even in your worst moments, tell me that you're happy that I'm standing beside you, because otherwise you make me feel not very loved. And, let's promise that no matter what comes, fortune wise, highs or lows, that we actually show each other that we are the best part of each other's, day. Jobs come and go, but a connection, and knowing that our partner looks at us as if we're valuable, that's the thing that might help to stabilize. So even on our worst days, it's not that bad after all. That's kind of what I think this is, but it's a tough conversation, but it's one that needs to be had. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. I will try to get some more zodiacs done late tonight. Take care. Bye.